Hey buddies, how's it going? Well, we're going to cook again today, and I'm doing a low-key, low-grade meal prep. It's not like the meal prep like I used to do back in the day where I learned hit or miss some different ways of doing things, but so I'm going to clean up. First, like I always do. One of these days I'll learn to clean up after I cook. That way, when it's time to cook the next time, it'll already be clean. But anyways, so I wipe it down, wipe off all the chemicals, and then I'm going to go back with a wet towel and wipe off any chemicals, which is good because when I stir my pot, I fling stuff around everywhere. While I do this, I'm also going to boil some eggs. I don't know why I love to boil eggs in my chai pot. I don't know why, but I do. I prefer it. I'm going to put eggs in there and let them boil, and then when they're done, I'm going to peel them and chop them up and put them in individual containers. So throughout the week, when I have a salad, I'll have a couple chopped up eggs to throw onto it for that extra protein. Or when I go to make my chicken salad, I'll have the eggs already ready to go. I used to do meal prep back in the day when it first started and was real popular, and the hit and miss and lessons learned. I would make meatloaves in a muffin pan. It was awesome because you had little individual servings of meatloaf. Well, then you had a nasty, disgusting meatloaf pan to clean. So I learned just make a meatloaf and then slice it up and put it in its individual servings. So I'm not meal prepping entire meals here. I'm just making like a base entree. I'm going to be cooking ground beef, and it's going to be kind of like a taco dish that I will eat with bell peppers instead of pasta, instead of bread, instead of crackers. I'm going to scoop it up with bell pepper slices. Trying to be a little bit heart healthy here. Have my new bottle of Bertolli olive oil. I've learned the hard way just today at the age of 51. I've learned that I need to start using smaller bottles of olive oil because that brand new fresh bottle of olive oil smelled beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And it dawned on me, I don't remember the last time I could smell my olive oil. So possibly it hasn't gone bad, but it's just lost its flavor. So I'm going to start using smaller bottles rather than a larger one to use for a long time. I had half an onion, and because I want onion in both my ground beef and my ground turkey I'm also going to cook, I diced up only half of it. So basically I've got a fourth of onion for each thing, but I'm just using what I have on hand, and that's what I had. I forgot to buy an onion at the grocery store, but I'm glad I had this. I've also got some green onion I'm going to chop into there. This one's going to be, I know I'm going to cause some contentious issues with my garlic. Just wait and see. But this dish is going to be spicy taco, and the ground turkey will be more of a Italian style. That again I will still eat with bell pepper, but it will be more on the side of like a spaghetti sauce. I spent good time chopping up that onion, and I have a really good Pampered Chef chopper that I could have used, but I don't know, maybe I needed the exercise. And when it came to chopping up this garlic, I just peeled it, chopped off the ends, peeled it, and then threw the 3 whole pieces in there. And I'm like, okay, I'm over it. I'm too tired to chop up the garlic, but I'll get the flavor out of it, and and they're big enough. I fished them out later. Matter of fact, I fished them out and reused them for the ground turkey. Getting this going. Food flinging everywhere. Throwing my onions in. Those eggs are probably boiling by now. My method of boiling eggs, I let them boil about a minute, almost 2 minutes. And there's the doggy stalking something. I forgot I can't zoom, or at least I don't know how to zoom while I'm filming, but there she is back there stalking something, and it was so cute. Sorry, I hope it didn't make anybody motion sick doing that. My method of boiling eggs has worked. I'm 51 years old. Never, ever cracked open a boiled egg and it was not completely done. I let it boil a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes, and then I turn it way down and let it cook another 1.5, almost 2 minutes, and then I turn it off and I leave it there. I leave it there a couple hours until it's totally cool, and they will be perfect. They always are. Always are. I'm going to throw in my secret ingredient, because this is the spicier dish, the spicier version. Oh, and I just remembered I've got my green onions, so I'm chopping them into there too. I like using scissors for that. Mix, 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 mix. Mix, 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 mix. Turning it down a bit so it doesn't burn. It's about done. Just getting everything to meld together. Here comes my secret ingredient. Laying bare for everyone to see my tips and tricks. I probably blabbed this before. Yeah, I put taco seasoning in my spicy taco dish, but I'm only putting half the package. And the reason is I'm reserving the other half for the Italian style dish. That's my secret. If you've ever ate pasta at my house, if you've ever had lasagna or spaghetti at my house, the base of that marinara sauce or whatever spaghetti sauce is always taco seasoning. I don't know why, I've always done that, and I like it. Just a little bit spicy Italian. It's good stuff. Mix, 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 mix. I'm going to, I think this is less than a pound of beef, and of course when you cook it down, and eat a little bit less. And then all the ingredients I added. This is probably 3 servings, but I'm going to divide it into 2 containers. And I know it looks like I'm going to eat a humongous amount of ground beef, but hear me out. First, I wanted to show off that I have always used handheld can openers. I prefer them. I do not like mechanical can openers. Hate them. And in my attempt to show how I love my handheld, I couldn't get it open. I just hit the seam just a little bit wrong. I'm going to use like a heaping tablespoon in here. Not a whole lot, because this is the taco version. This is not the Italian version. I'm going to reserve the rest of that can for the Italian version. So it's a nice big spoonful of it. And I'll add some water to it too in a minute. Hold on, sister. I know you're thinking, when is she going to add water? When is she going to add? It's coming. Remain calm. Boom. Are we good? Okay. Anywho, it looks like I'm eating a giant amount, because I'm going to cut that in half and have one for one day and one for another. I have to keep in mind that when I'm on shift, me and my coworker was joking about this a couple weeks ago. When we're on shift, it's an hour drive for me, so I work 12 hours. I get up an hour to get ready for an hour, and I leave 2 hours early. That way, even though I get there an hour early, at least I'm ahead of traffic or any possible accidents, because I cannot be late. I can't. And so that leaves no time. That leaves the only time to get home, shower, and sleep. I've come home and a couple times had dinner, and like a couple times my niece, I walked in the door and she put dinner in my hand. It was so sweet. But essentially, when I'm on shift, let's have a taste. It's almost like we're doing intermediate fasting. Excuse me. Because we only eat while we're at work. So I'll take half of this and I'll eat it for my meal at work, and then I'll snack on it before and after throughout. So it looks like it's a large serving, but I'm going to snack on it for the 12 hours that I'm at work. I'll put with it some bell peppers and maybe some pepperoni, maybe some celery, some more veggies. When I have the Italian version, I'll probably put some mozzarella with it and pepperoni, and slice up some tomatoes in nice thick slices to eat. So there, I've got it divided. Now I'm going to make my Italian version with ground turkey. If you haven't tried ground turkey, you just got to get used to it. That's all. That's all. You just have to get used to it. The number one thing you have to get used to is once it's done, it's not going to be brown the way ground beef is. So it looks great. The color's off-putting, but it's turkey. Turkey is a whiter color than the ground beef. And once you've had it a few times, it's good. It's a nice staple to have. It's better for you. It's good. And so I've got another drizzle of olive oil going in here. I'm chopping up the rest of that onion, getting ready to throw in here. Got just a couple more minutes before this is done. Talking about this olive oil, how good it smelled. Don't forget to do this thing. Go vote. I voted today. It was a great feeling. It's on my mind how delicious this olive oil smelled. It smelled so good. It reminded me of one of my trips to Greece, and when I was with two girls. We were there literally day 1 and 2 of the season, and so it wasn't crowded at all. There was one cruise ship there, and we learned that the locals on Mykonos Island in Greece did not like cruise tourists. Did not like them at all. When we pulled up to a taverna with our sows, which are four-wheelers, they call them sows, we came back to the parking lot, and our four-wheelers had been moved across the street. We're like, oh my God, who would do that? And a guy said, we moved them because we didn't want the locals to know that cruise ship tourists were here. I'm like, oh, okay. So we rented these four-wheelers, and I thought it was so fascinating. Did y'all see the taco seasoning go into that? I'm going to put the rest of the tomato paste also. But while I'm waiting for that cook, I'm going to restock my flatware in my little container here that I got from a resale shop. Little flower pot thing. So while we're renting these four-wheelers to go riding around Mykonos Island, I was shocked that he didn't want any identification. He didn't want a credit card. And I said, aren't you afraid we're going to steal these? And he said, we're on an island. Where are you going to take them? Good point. Okay, gotcha. That was such a good trip. We were there a few days, and each day we would spend the day just riding the switchbacks up to the top of the mountain. And along the way, we'd go through olive groves, and you could smell the olives. It was so beautiful. We'd go to monasteries, and we'd buy chocolate or their olive oil that they make, and it was just wonderful. We get to the top of the island, and we could look down to the port, and we could see the cruise ship going back out to sea. So we're like, good, they're gone. So then we would just race down to the port, and we'd go to the same restaurant each night. We were the only ones there. And the chef would cook right next to our table and talk to us. It was wonderful. He made a seafood saganaki for us one night with the tomato base. It was so wonderful. We could just dredge our bread right through the pot, all the olive oil and tomato sauce. Oh, it was wonderful. We asked the chef, we said, give us some advice on ingredients. Give us your best advice for cooking. And he said, okay, let's talk about balsamic vinegar and olive oil. And he said, balsamic vinegar, it's just science. You can't do any better one company than the other. There's nothing to do to it to make it one way or the other. It's just balsamic vinegar. Any brand is good. It's all the same. And then olive oil, he said, Bertolli. Always Bertolli. So I'll never forget that. So I'm chopping some onions in this. And we're about done here. I'm going to divide this into 2 dishes as well. Thank you for cooking with me today. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, 27 October. And we'll cook something different next time. Have a good day. Hey buddies, how's it going? Well, we're going to cook again today, and I'm doing a